Rick Ross just tore into Drake for being single. After the OVO star admitted he prefers the bachelor lifestyle, Ross seized on that weakness and turned it into a public attack. Don't go anywhere, because the moment Ross took this beef from social media shots to a live-on-stage call-out changed everything. Rick Ross called Drake's new album trash and said anyone praising it is just glazing the man. When Drake dropped Iceman, Maid of Honor, and Habity, Ross went straight to Instagram to share his reaction, scrolling through comments on a post about the release and mocking Drake's lyrics out loud. He wasn't subtle about it. He sarcastically yelled bars over and over again while roasting anyone who dared to defend the guy, and then told Drake directly he was washed. That right there is the energy Ross has been bringing to this thing. Not just battle rap energy. Something more personal. Something that sounds like a man who genuinely can't believe what he's looking at. Now, the single angle. That's not just a reference to Drake's relationship status. It's the whole picture. Drake is currently not publicly confirmed to be dating anyone despite rumors swirling around his interactions with various celebrities and public figures. And that's a significant thing when you understand what Ross keeps hammering, because the BBL Drizzy nickname, the ghostwrite allegations, the soft image, all of it ties back to one core accusation Ross keeps making. That Drake is a man performing a lifestyle he doesn't actually live. No girl, no credibility, no real mecha card. Ross didn't waste any time firing back at Drake when shots were first fired, dropping champagne moments and claiming Drake stole his flow from Lil Wayne, referring to him as white boy, and alleging he had cosmetic surgery to change features like his nose. Ross hasn't let up since, continuing to clown Drake on social media while nicknaming him BBL Drizzy. That nickname alone broke the internet. The phrase was coined by Ross in reference to a rumor that Drake received plastic surgery on his abs and nose using the slang term BBL, an acronym for Brazilian butt lift, and Drizzy, a nickname for Drake. That's Ross's whole strategy. He's not just making fun of one thing. He's building a whole character, a pampered, body-altered, single mommy texting man, and hanging it around Drake's neck every single day. And the single thing feeds all of it. Drake is pretty private when it comes to his love life, and seeing him with a woman he's actually dating is a very rare sighting. For someone whose entire brand is built on being the ultimate lover boy, the guy women can't get out of their heads, the image of being alone, publicly unattached, with no confirmed partner, is a gap that Ross has been filing for laughs. Even Drake himself has been forced to address the body image side of it. He bluntly denied ever having AB surgery, though he admitted he may have edited a photo of himself using an app. He tried to make it light, but the fact that he had to explain himself at all in an interview on camera to a podcaster shows how deep Ross got under his skin. SZA once called Drake a womanizer, likening him to Regina George from Mean Girls, saying he has a cool kid quality where it's just kind of. Have you or anyone you know been personally victimized? That framing sticks, because between Ross calling him BBL Drizzy, SZA comparing him to the school bully, and the internet noticing his alone, Drake is taking shots from every direction, and Ross is the one holding the loudest gun. When Kendrick Lamar and Drake went to war in one of rap's most watched beefs in years, Rick Ross chose a side, and it wasn't Drake's. He aligned publicly with Kendrick and used that moment to launch his own sustained campaign against the Toronto rapper. And unlike Kendrick, Ross didn't stop when the smoke cleared. He kept going, kept trolling, kept adding new ammo. The single thing, that's just the latest layer. The Ross versus Drake situation feels different from most, partly because these two were once genuinely close, and partly because the gloves have now come off in the most public way possible. That history, that closeness, is exactly what makes the attack so cutting. Ross knows exactly where to poke. He knew the image Drake had built, and he'd been dismantling it piece by piece, public appearance by public appearance. So, to understand why this hit so hard, you need to go back to where it all started. Not the diss track, not the BBL nickname, but the years before any of this, when these two men were the closest thing to brothers that hip-hop had seen in a generation. For most of the 2010s, Drake and Rick Ross were one of hip-hop's most reliably entertaining collaborative partnerships. Aston Martin Music, Stay Schemin', Lord Knows, Money in the Grave. These weren't just songs. They were moments, and they elevated both careers. Think about what that partnership meant at the time. Russ was the OG seal of approval. Drake was the streaming king, who pushed everything he touched to new heights. When those two locked in, the product was something neither could make alone. It was Miami weight, Toronto melody, boss energy, heartbreak energy. It shouldn't have worked as well as it did. And that's exactly why it worked. As recently as May 2023, Russ claimed on Drink Champs that he and Drake were really close, and in the 2nd percentile when it comes to writers and creators. He wasn't performing for the camera. That sounded like a man who genuinely marveled at what they could do together, and Drake echoed it. Drake gushed about working with Ross in an interview, saying, "One of the people I enjoy rapping with most in this business is Rosary." He talked about a joint album, about making music that he loved playing back in his car. This wasn't PR talk. This was two men who had built something real. They even had a joint project in the works. They were supposed to team up for a joint album titled YOL, in the early 2010s, which never materialized. But the blueprint for something larger was always there, simmering underneath. The individual features and guest appearances. The pair have teamed up for a handful of anthems over the years, including Russ's 3 top 10 hits on the Billboard Hot 100, Lemon Pepper Freestyle, Money in the Grave, and DJ Khaled's I'm on One. 3 top 10 hits. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. And it raises the question that became a diss line. Who needed who more? Because that's the tension that was always there, even during the good years. Drake on Push Up sniped at Russ about his corrections officer past and how he'd hooked the MMG honcho up with some of the biggest hits of his career. That was the grenade Drake eventually threw. You only charted because of me. And Russ, to his credit, did not take that quietly. But before the grenade, there was a fuse. And the fuse was lit by something personal, something that had nothing to do with music, but everything to do with loyalty and women. Drake invited Russ's then recent ex, Christina Mackey, to one of his Miami stops on the It's All a Blur, big as the What tour. That move, whether calculated or not, was fuel. In a world where the code between men is everything, bringing out your former friend's ex-girlfriend to your show is a statement. It's a flag, and Russ read it as one. Russ caught fans off guard when he posted a video of himself jamming to Kendrick Lamar's Like That verse, in which the Compton rapper took jabs at Drake. It didn't take long for everyone to notice. Russ had quietly unfollowed Drake, too. No announcement, no explanation, just a video and a missing follow. That was Russ sending his own flag back. From that moment, the brotherhood was over, and what replaced it was something far more entertaining for the internet and far more damaging for Drake's carefully constructed image. Their beef erupted publicly after Russ appeared to side with Kendrick Lamar, unfollowed Drake, and dropped Champagne Moments, in which he explained the root of his problems with Drake. The cease and desist sent to French Montana, the shift in character, the white boy who used to come around and make hits with the real ones, and then turned around and sent lawyers. That's the story Russ is telling, and it's a story where Drake ends up alone. No allies, no girl, just a mansion full of trophies that Russ says he helped build. No one in rap history has weaponized the nickname quite the way Russ weaponized BBL Drizzy. It was short, it was funny, it was devastating, and it spread faster than anything either of them had put out in years. The phrase referenced a rumor that Drake received plastic surgery on his abs and on his nose using the slang term BBL, an acronym for Brazilian butt lift. Inspired by Russ's posts, a comedian by the name of King Wilanius released an AI-generated R&B parody song titled BBL Drizzy. That parody song then got sampled by Metro Boomin and turned into a beat that he released publicly with a cash prize attached for the best freestyle over it. The thing spiraled far beyond what Russ could have planned. It generated more than 4 million streams on SoundCloud within a week. The nickname Russ threw out in an Instagram caption became one of the most streamed audio pieces in rap culture that spring. That's not just trolling. That's a cultural moment, and Russ was the architect of it. It's one thing to battle in the booth. It's another for the war to spill onto social media. Russ is one of rap's most ruthless comics online, and has been relentless in dissing Drake, wearing his merch at a performance, referring to him as BBL Drizzy and bringing up ghostwriting claims. The ghostwriting angle is particularly pointed because it goes straight at the lover boy persona. If someone else wrote the words that women fell in love with, if the heartbreak wasn't really his, if the vulnerability was crafted in a room with a hired pen, then the whole mythology collapses. And without the mythology, what's left? A guy with a big house, a son he co-parents, and no confirmed girlfriend. Drake did try to fight back on the image front. When Drake addressed the BBL rumors directly, he made a joke about it, saying, "They call me BBL Drizzy, so that's true," before following it with a sarcastic question about whether his walk looked any different. He played it off. He's always been good at playing things off. But the fact that he was sitting in an interview chair dressing his, but while Ross was on a tour bus somewhere laughing tells you everything about who had the power in that moment. Drake sniped back, in the same interview, calling out Ross' fake jewelry with a jab that went over the interviewer's head entirely. "You've never seen someone ice rosé? Well, talk to every jeweler in Miami that has fake diamonds." He quipped. That was a counterpunch, but it was a quiet one. It didn't have the same weight. Russ's attack was public, viral, and funny. Drake's response was a quip that needed explaining. And that's the rhythm of this whole beef. Russ attacks loudly. Drake responds quietly. Russ attacks again. The cycle keeps the narrative in Russ's hands. When Drake shared text messages between him and his mother in response to the nose job allegations, Russ posted a story saying, "I just realized BBL Drizzy called his mommy on me." He shared their text messages between each other. Cupcake Drake. "Tell your mama you stayed. Out past your curfew. White boy. Cupcake." That's a word Russ kept coming back to. And in context of a man who talks about being a boss, who built an empire, who commands respect in the streets, calling your mother to defend you in a rap beef is the worst possible optic. It feeds the single narrative perfectly. The man whose entire artistic identity is built around women can't keep one, and calls his mom when a peer clowns him online. That image, whether fair or not, is what Ross has been cementing. And the internet let him do it with a full standing ovation. Underneath the trolling, under the BBL nickname, and the Instagram stories, there's an actual grievance that Ross has been carrying. And it's one that tells you a lot about how Drake operates and why Ross felt justified in turning on him so publicly. In Champagne Moments, Ross rapped, "I unfollowed you now cause you sent the mother of kings cease and desist to French Montana. You sent the police hated on my dog project. That wasn't the same white boy that I seen when we were making them early records." That's the heart of it. Drake allegedly sent French Montana a cease and desist over his song called Splash Brothers, a track that, according to French, was originally a Drake record that was later handed to him. Russ previously accused Drake of hitting French Montana with a cease and desist over his verse. According to French Montana, the song was originally a Drake track and was later given to him. So the story goes, Drake gave French a record, French built on it, made it his own. Then when it was about to come out, Drake sent lawyers. And in the world Ross comes from, sending lawyers to a friend is the equivalent of a betrayal. Not just a business dispute, a violation of the code. When Young Miami asked Russ how exactly the beef began in the first place, he pointed straight at his mention in Drake's track. He mentioned my name and that's a no-no. Don't do that, especially when it ain't about no real, but when you do that, okay then, that's how we going to play. Russ is a code and Drake broke it multiple times. Once with the cease and desist, once with the name drop, and once with a Miami concert invitation to Christina Mackey. Each one of those is a separate offense. Each one compounds the last. By the time Russ went public with his position, he wasn't acting impulsively. He was done accumulating. Shannon Sharpe pressed Russ directly about why he chose to get involved in the Drake pile-on, and Russ was straightforward about it. He told Shannon that when his name gets said, he jumps off the porch. That's not drama. That's just how he's wired, and he said it like a man who had no regrets. What makes this even messier is how French Montana sits in the middle of it. He's close to both men. He was the reason the cease and desist became a flashpoint in the first place. And yet, French Montana has claimed he believes it's only a matter of time before Ross and Drake make amends. It'll happen, he said. Brothers always fight and make up, man. It'll happen. Nobody got shot. Nobody died. That's French playing both sides. But it's also the most grounded perspective anyone has offered. The question isn't whether the beef was real. It clearly is. The question is whether the relationship underneath it still has enough weight to survive it. Russ responded to Drake's disses with champagne moments within hours of push-ups leaking. And even as Drake was focusing his energy on Kendrick Lamar, he and Russ continued to troll each other on social media for weeks. That parallel wall, Russ on one front, Kendrick on the other, stretched Drake's attention in a way that may have damaged him more than either individual beef could have alone. He was fighting a two-front battle with two men who were each publicly enjoying it, and Russ kept going even after the Kendrick thing wound down, even after the internet moved on, even after Not Like Us became a #1 hit. Russ just kept adding fuel. The Champagne Moments record was one thing. The social media trolling was another. But the moment that really put a cherry on top of Russ's assault was what he did at the Versus. During a Versus battle between Russ and French Montana, the Miami rapper performed Aston Martin music, but Drake's presence on the record caused complications. Consequently, Russ made sure he had a version without the Toronto rapper. Think about that for a second. You and your old partner made a record together. That record is part of your legacy. People know every word. And when it comes time to perform it, you surgically remove the man from his own feature. Not just in a private session, on a live stage, on camera, in front of an audience. Russ told the crowd, directly, I want to do Aston Martin music minus Drake's vocals. No Drake vocals. If you want to sing that, I'ma let you sing that. And when Drake's portion came up, Russ grinned while the audience sang it for him. That grin is everything. That is a man who is loving every second of this. He didn't look uncomfortable. He didn't look guilty. He looked like a man who had planned this, rehearsed it, and was fully present in the satisfaction of executing it. The moment circulated online immediately, eventually catching Drake's attention. Drake responded to the clip on social media after it began making the rounds. He saw it, he clocked it, and the fact that he felt the need to respond at all told you it landed. But nothing that happened on stage was as dramatic as what happened in Vancouver. Russ faced the wrath of Drake's home country when he was attacked after playing Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us following his Canadian concert. A group of about 15 men gathered around Russ after his set at the Ignite Music Festival. A man threw a punch at Russ, and that led to the group seemingly taking on Russ's entourage as an enormous fight broke out. This is where things stopped being funny. Russ made a choice to play Not Like Us, a song that explicitly accuses Drake of being a predator on Drake's home soil in Canada in front of Canadian fans. That's not just trolling. That's a provocation designed to get a reaction, and it did. Russ reportedly told TMZ that no one from his team suffered any serious injuries, and Vancouver is a beautiful city, and he can't wait to go back. Unbothered. Completely unbothered. That response, the casualness of it, is Russ at his most effective. He took the beating, dusted himself off, and used it as more content, more proof of his own toughness, more evidence that Drake's fans are emotional, while Russ is not. Ultimately, Russ has seemed doubtful about making up with Drake. During an episode of Thoughts N.A. Coli, he put the ball squarely in Drake's court.